All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to Post Match Live with We Ain't Got No History. My name is David, and I'm willing to put in about as much effort today as Stoke over on Stamford Bridge. We got the hat going because the hair is out of control. Yeah, here you go. Come hang out for a minute, and then we're off to begin the last couple days of the year. Ram says, "Told you Drinkwater should play." Ram has a couple interesting player preferences. One of which is that Drinkwater should be playing all the time because he is obviously the best midfielder in the world, other than N'Golo Conte. Well, you know, on today's performance, we'll give that one to Ram because. That was a really nice goal there by Drinkwater. He's scored a couple of spectacular ones before, namely, most famously, the one against the one against Liverpool. But really nice goal. It wasn't really described as a screamer, but it was more of just a guided missile. Volley right into the top corner. Really nice chest control, and just a little dink, well out of the reach of the goalkeeper, who could stop only Morata today, nothing else. Unfortunately for old Alvaro Morata, not the greatest day in his office. Not one to. Not one to hang there in the personal Morata museum or commemorate with some Instagram videos, but maybe he's just saving all his goals for Arsenal on Wednesday or all the other Arsenal games coming up in January, because there will be at least 3 of them, and possibly we could even get up to 4 if we draw him in FA Cup 4th round if we beat Norwich. Shame that Callum Hudson-Odoi wasn't on the bench, says Mike. Indeed, today it was, scoring within 3 minutes, up 2-0 inside of 10 minutes. Would have been an easy and obvious opportunity for somebody like Hudson-Odoi to make his Chelsea debut, but unfortunately, he was not on the bench. As neither was Ethan Ampadu. It was actually a very experienced bench, possibly because we did rotate a little bit, but also possibly because just about everybody's not injured these days. Even David Luiz and Charlie Musonda are supposedly coming back next weekend against Norwich. That's what Conte was saying on Friday. We'll see. We'll see if that. We'll see if that actually happens. It seemed a little sudden, because suddenly they were asking him about team news, which was basically the 1 minute of the press conference that concerned itself about actual team news. The rest of it was spent talking about Hazard and Courtois and stuff like that. But Conte was asked about team news, and then suddenly he just is like, "Oh yeah, by the way, David Luiz and Musonda they for sure will be back for Norwich." And he was like, "What? Where did that come from?" So there you go, something to keep an eye out for next weekend. But before then, of course, we play Arsenal at the Emirates in the league, and based on today, we're certainly a good result to take into that game. Can't really complain too much about a 5-0, although if we are going to complain about one thing, it is certainly Morata's missed chances. About three one-on-ones. The first one was actually, I thought it was a really nice save from Butland. I mean, Butland's supposed to be a pretty good goalkeeper, so sometimes he'll save a couple every once in a while. So I think the first one we can give to Butland, credit him for that save. The second one, we've talked many times about Morata and kind of overthinking the situation sometimes. A little Torres creeping in every once in a while, especially when he has to use his feet. So the second one, instead of going for the first time shot, he cut inside his defender, which was fine, but the control was not as tight as it should have been, and by that time the second defender recovered to clear that chance. So that was possibly a little overthinking there. And then the third one was unclear. That was bad. I'll give anyone the third one. That was pretty bad from Morata. He dribbled too much. He dribbled too close to the goalkeeper, and then even when he was there, it was a pretty bad shot. Straight into the arm. I mean, if you're gonna if you're gonna try to score in that position, the last thing you should try to be doing is trying to chip over the goalkeeper who's right next to you. And it's that was a fairly poor finish there from Morata. So by my count, it's one good save, one good defensive play, and then one pretty poor finish from Morata. Unfortunately, the delivery from Azpilicueta was not on point today either, so there were no real headed chances for the striker. So yeah, unfortunately, even though we won 5-0, our striker did not score a goal. And just one of these days, if he scores against Arsenal, nobody will care that he missed these chances. He missed similar chances against Karabag back earlier in the season. So sometimes it happens. I mean, we've been talking about Chelsea's finishing problems and stuff like that, and Morata certainly could become a bit more clinical, especially with his feet. He has no problem scoring with his head. Maybe he just needs to figure out a way to convert those one-on-ones to like headed chances. Do like was it Balotelli who lied down on his stomach to score with his head? Yeah. Chuck says, meanwhile, Salah needs 2.5 inches to beat the keeper. Well, Salah, again, got 2 more goals today, but he did miss a couple pretty easy chances in the first half. So, it happens. The problem is that it seems to happen with a fair amount of regularity with Morata, and that's something... there was an interview with him just before the game, I think, on BBC, was it? Where he was saying that he's quite aware of his need to improve in certain finishing aspects, I guess. But if as long as he doesn't overthink it, I think he'll be fine. Diego would have had a double at least. It's easy to say now. I don't know. My impression, it's been a while, obviously. It's easy to forget things. My impression of Costa in his time at Chelsea was that he's a very streaky scorer. Sometimes he would score with every single touch, and then sometimes he would not score for, weeks and games. But that's just my impression, and perhaps that's wrong. Or that's my lasting impression, lasting memory of old Diego Costa, who is less than 2 days away from becoming eligible to play again. So hooray for Diego, and hooray for Atletico, which means that on January 1st, the transfer will actually be official. What do I think of Carrasco's £40 million price tag? I haven't heard that one before, but 40 million in this market is basically like, pocket change. So, he's a good player. I don't know if we really need somebody like him in January. I think we really need to reset our expectations for January, and I really don't think there's going to be any major movement, because there usually isn't. Just one of those where there's a lot of rumors. Maybe we sign some middle of the road squad player, but don't expect big waves. That's that went out with Torres and the bathwater. So don't think that's happening. Then again, Chelsea apparently do have a ton of money these days because we somehow turned positive revenues thanks to player sales mostly last season. So plenty. There should be plenty to reinvest, but I just don't think that's necessarily will happen in January. We tend to do our business in the summer. Carrasco is free to leave Atletico. Oh, is his contract expiring? That's interesting. Or is just he's been allowed to leave? Bakayoko and Conte don't play well together. Do we play Drinkwater and Conte? I think Bakayoko and Conte actually the first couple times we've seen them play together in a 3-4-3, I think they've done quite well. But in an easier game like this, we don't really need the physical presence of Bakayoko, and Drinkwater is physical enough to kind of be that middle of the road person between somebody like Bakayoko and Fabregas. So I think it's in today's game, it is a perfect choice. And really, I mean, Drinkwater and Conte obviously is a Premier League winning combination from Leicester City. So it's tough to they have the credentials, is what I'm trying to say, to lead a team to victory. And certainly Drinkwater seemed on point, especially with his long passing. He had a couple of shorter passes actually that were just like straight to one of the Stoke players, but his long passing was great. Yeah, we need a left wing back, says Hamza, but I just don't think like. Okay, so if we say the ideal signing at left wing back is Alexandro, assuming he's still good, because apparently he's not as good these days as he was last season. But if we're saying that he's the ideal left wing back signing, I just don't think that's going to happen in January. It's a move that we might make in the summer. Not in January. It's just historically, it's not something that happens. It could happen, but I wouldn't be counting on it. That said, we definitely need a left wing back backup option, and Conte kind of wrote off all the Baba Rahman talk on Friday, which was one of the other than the David Luiz injury news, that was pretty much the only concrete thing he said in his press conference. He was asked, is Baba coming back anytime soon from his injury? And Conte made it quite a point to kind of separate what he called the human aspect and his playing ability. And so basically, it sounds like Baba Rahman's recovery is still not going as well as people have hoped. He blew out his ACL in last January at the Africa Cup of Nations. He suffered a setback to that over the summer, which prevented Schalke from taking him on loan. He may or may not have had another surgery on it too. There's a couple translated articles I saw from various sources. The point being that his recovery is simply not going as quickly. By this time, say Kurt Zuma was back from his ACL and training at least, and being even on the bench. Baba Rahman apparently is nowhere near that milestone. So Conte was saying it's not something that we can. He's basically unsure of Baba Rahman's Chelsea future. That he's happy to help him recover his fitness, but it's just not something that's happening for him. That's something that he's struggling with at the moment. So for all those, including myself, who was kind of hoping that Baba Rahman would be the left field choice, the dark horse candidate for the backup job at left wing back, it's not looking too likely. There are a couple loan rumors. Again, Schalke, as always, plus Fiorentina. I'm hoping we don't deal with Fiorentina just because of the sour experience with Mo Salah. So it's just one of those things. Screw Fiorentina. Why is Hazard not signing? There it is. I was wondering when the first Hazard question would be popping in. So the winner is Kyle. Why is Hazard not signing? Well, Hazard's not signing because he hasn't been offered a contract yet, apparently, is the official line, or as official as it gets from Chelsea. It's unclear what Hazard's dad is all on about. He's kind of acting as a hype man here, trying to stir the pot. So for those who may have been under a rock over the last couple of days, Hazard's father, Thierry Hazard, who I keep wanting to call him Thierry Henry, but it's Thierry Hazard, gave an interview to a Belgian newspaper, and in it he basically said that Hazard has turned down a contract from Chelsea because he wants to go to Real Madrid. Right? It's the same old story. The big difference being that Hazard supposedly turned down this contract with which Chelsea offered him. Now it's a classic transfer rumor thing where if he turns down a contract, suddenly it means that he's leaving, which of course is not the case, even without considering anything else. He has 2.5 years left on his current contract, and he's made no real noise about ever wanting to leave. Whenever he talks about this, he says he's happy here. Obviously, that's what he's going to say, but there's only so much. At some point, we got to take somebody at their word, right? So if Hazard says he's happy in London, he's happy to fight for trophies. We are winning things. Chelsea are often accused of no ambition these days, but we are 2 of the last 3 Premier League winners right here. That's decent ambition. Obviously, Hazard wants to win the Champions League, which he hasn't done since arriving at Chelsea. He came here because we won the Champions League, and we haven't come close since. So that's slightly unfortunate, but is he gonna leave Chelsea purely to win the Champions League? He gave an interview a couple of weeks ago where this was posed to him. Said, do you have to leave Chelsea to win the Champions League? You have to go to Real Madrid or whatever. And his answer was basically that you never know. He could go to Real Madrid and not win the Champions League. It kind of reminds me of switching sports for a minute, but my favorite hockey player is a guy called Marian Hossa, who used to play. Well, he plays for the Blackhawks these days, or is retired. That's a whole nother story. But once he used to switch between Pittsburgh and Detroit, and he had the unfortunate distinction of losing 2 consecutive Stanley Cup finals with 2 different teams, losing to the previous team that he played at. I think he lost the finals with Pittsburgh, then he went to Detroit, went to the final, lost to Pittsburgh. So you never know. Just because you switch to what teams would consider a team that people would consider a favorite, there's no guarantee of you winning anything. So it's one of those situations where this has gotten completely blown up just because Hazard's father said something. But we've seen fathers, mothers, brothers, all these people talking in transfer rumors. That doesn't necessarily mean anything. I mean, it's not like Hazard. It's not like his dad is his agent. Hazard Eden is his own agent. Really, he's kind of unique in that sense. It all adds to his image of being a little carefree, possibly a little less concerned about super ambition. But who knows? So in response to all this, Chelsea gave a briefing that was run in The Guardian, The Telegraph, Sky Sports, all those places, usual places, and basically said it's impossible that Hazard rejected a contract because there's been no official offer, which in a way is reassuring, and in a way it isn't reassuring because why isn't there an offer? It's been rumored for 6 months at least that we're going to give him a new contract, a wage rise to 300K or whatever, to highest paid player ever. All that is fine. But what's the holdup? Why is there a delay? And obviously, it doesn't necessarily behoove Hazard to sign a deal with 2.5 years left on his current contract. If football players start looking towards American sports a bit more, they'll start preferring shorter term contracts and more free agency, so to speak. Market adjustment, especially these days, the way costs and everything else is spiraling out or the money involved in the game. So, it's keeping his options open, so to speak, for Hazard is what he should be doing to maximize his earnings, and that's probably what he's doing. There's no rush for him to sign a contract, and Chelsea, at least the official line is that we're okay with waiting a little longer. So we'll see. I mean, it's round many for Hazard and Real Madrid, and I don't think we should be concerned. The story's gonna pop up every week or every month from now until forever, just like it's popped up every day, every week since he signed with Chelsea. On day one, basically, this move was termed as a stepping stone for him from Lille to Real Madrid. 5.5 years later, he's still here. There's little reason to think that he won't be. The only reason, really, the one I keep coming back to is Hazard's about to turn 27 in the next couple weeks, actually. Early January, so it's January 9th, maybe, is his birthday. He's turning 27, which in football is starting to, it's either your prime or you're about to be starting to fade towards the end there. So if he is to leave Chelsea or if he is to sign for Real Madrid, this it's going to have to happen in the next year, 6 months, whatever. So if that's the only reason, really, I could think of this move ever coming to fruition, and that's assuming that Real Madrid could afford whatever asking price Chelsea would set. I mean, what would be Hazard's asking price these days? Maybe not 200 million like Neymar, but certainly triple digits, right? Could be interesting. Romelu has gotten KO'd. I'm not watching the game, but United are playing Southampton. Southampton are terrible, but maybe they can pull off a miracle. Chelsea are actually back in second briefly, or at least temporarily right now, thanks to this 3 points today. 2 points ahead of United, who thus need to beat Southampton, who have officially sold Virgil van Dijk for £75 million. As outrageous as that is, Virgil van Dijk is worth £75 million. What is somebody like Christensen worth? Younger, with a longer, better future. It's crazy money these days. $350 million. Oh my god. Or is that Hazard $350 million? Oh, not bad. I mean, if Madrid want to offer $350 million, I think Chelsea might think about that one long and hard. Is Hazard that irreplaceable? He's no N'Golo Conte. That's all I gotta say about that. Oh, Kelvin. Morata missed 3 one-on-ones today. Is he really that bad? Well, the scoring with his feet, it seems to be less his forte than scoring with his head. Let's put it that way. He's just saving. I think I've arrived at the conclusion that he's saving them for Arsenal, either Wednesday or one of the other 2 games that we're going to be playing against them this month. So lots of goals coming up for Morata against Arsenal. You heard it here first. Oh, apparently Lukaku got hit in the head. That's not good. Hopefully they're following concussion protocol, which is something that doesn't always happen, unfortunately. What's the latest on Diego Costa? Diego Costa is ready to come back, or ready to start playing in a day and a half. So exciting times in the Diego Costa household and the land of Atletico Madrid. Fortunately, we don't have to play him this season, so we can wish him all the good luck as he officially completes his move and gets on with the rest of his career. Oh boy, as all I'm just watching Twitter here, and everybody's like, "Our thoughts are with Lukaku." I mean, carted off for a head injury is not a good look there for Romelu. Kelvin says, "It's true that instead of chasing Alessandro, we're going to give Baba Rahman a chance." Yeah, so we were just talking about that earlier. It sounds like Conte isn't really counting on that option, and mostly because Baba Rahman's recovery apparently isn't going as well as we were expecting, as he's expecting, as it should be. It's almost he's months shy of exactly a year since he got hurt, and yeah, that's not good. That's not a good update really on Baba. So hopefully he'll get back at some point. Wow, must be really bad for Lukaku here. All right. Well, on that note, I think we're gonna call it a short one today. Gotta get on with the rest of our end of year activities here. It is the last game of 2017. The next time Chelsea play, it will be 2018, which is a designation in the real world. Doesn't really matter in football. We don't define seasons on calendar years. Although as much as Spurs and Harry Kane's goal scoring totals are making news these days, nobody really cares what you do in a calendar year. Only matters what you do in a season. So it's time to roll the calendars over to 2018. Chelsea will start the new year with an away trip to Arsenal, and I want to say that our New Year's games have not gone that well in recent years. Maybe it's just colored by that 5-2 defeat the Spurs on the title-winning season. But I think last year we lost our winning streak right as the year turned as well, because Stoke was number 13. And then we went to Spurs again, I want to say, and we lost 2-0. So hopefully that pattern doesn't continue. It'd be nice to continue this good run. 5 straight clean sheets in the league. 6 unbeaten in all competitions. In good form. 5 goals today. Rudiger getting it started early in the 3rd minute. Drinkwater with the best goal of the day inside of 10. Pedro's goal in 23 minutes, effectively ending this as a contest. And then we got late goals from Willian from the penalty spot, and Zappacosta in the 88th minute. This time he actually meant it, unlike that other time. So good way to end the year. Chelsea in second temporarily, depending on what Manchester United do, who are playing right now. So yeah, Happy New Year to everybody who follows this calendar, the Western Gregorian calendar. Next time we'll talking to you, it will be 2018, and it will be after the Arsenal match, which is on Wednesday. So mark your calendars. It's gonna be an important occasion, and it'll be the first real tough game for Chelsea in quite some time. So we're gonna have to get up for that one. And then after that will be a bunch of cups, like FA Cup and League Cup. So all hands on deck for Arsenal. That should be fun. So obviously we'll talk to you after that. If you watched any of this, thank you for watching. Thanks for watching all these videos this year, which is something new we've been trying. Hopefully we'll get even better with them at 2018. So thanks for watching, and bye.